Hello everyone, and welcome to your second royal reading of the day here at Mad World Tarot, Tuesday afternoon. And it's a follow-on from the previous reading that I've just done on Meghan Markle, who is on something of a high right now. Her court case drama with Samantha Markle is over. Samantha's case has failed. It's been dismissed. Meghan, of course, on a high after her trip to Texas. Catherine, on the other hand, on a low, a bit of a scary low. Her own health situation obviously still troubling. I think that there has been trouble in the marriage. That's my personal feeling about things on the readings I've done. That certainly comes through. I think she's worried about her children. And of course, the photo that was released turned into a huge fiasco. And according to those in the know, she is feeling very miserable about it. She's in a fragile state. She is on a low. So our theme today is ups and downs. And I decided to look at this from a different perspective. And that is from our perspective, from an archetypal perspective, really and truly archetypal, in the sense of what are we supposed to learn from this watching? What does this all represent? And so you'll see I'm going to do a mini Celtic cross. I'm using the Field Tarot for this one. It's a tarot deck that I don't very often use on this channel. But anyway, it felt like it needed to be brought out for this one, reading on the Princess of Wales. So we're going to stick with it and see what happens. It's a new version of this for me, so it's a pretty much untouched deck. I had another one. I was prompted to give it to someone. So I got to replace it, and I haven't ever really used it. A couple of times. So cards are a bit slick, but the energy is pretty uncontaminated. And so I'm going to do a mini Celtic cross. Have a look at the story, Catherine's side of the coin, because I think the two women are very interesting mirrors of each other, the sisters-in-law, and what they reflect, what energy they reflect, what their destinies are, what we're supposed to learn from the whole situation. The situation that is sometimes very difficult to watch. And for me, as an energy reader right now, it is painful to watch, I have to say. So I want to get a different perspective, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. And okay, I think we're warmed up. We'll just shuffle these ones in. Apparently I need to do that. I'm getting a bit jumpy, as you can see, a bit almost breathless, energy, like anxiety that's running through me now as I'm doing this. So let's see, mini Celtic cross coming up. I'll explain everything as I go through it. And let's remind you, as we always do, it's tarot for fun and entertainment. It's all my opinion or speculation. Energy that we read here, archetypal energy, and disclaimer in the box to be like. So mini Celtic cross, which means you just get the cross part. You don't get the arm that goes up the side here, and it's good enough. We can learn a lot from a mini Celtic cross. And the underlying energy will be the signifier for the Princess of Wales right now in her journey. And we have perspective, it's called, in this tarot deck. Perspective, the 12th card of the Major Arcana. For those of you who know tarot, traditional tarot, will know that that card is normally the Hanged Man in tarot. And it is about perspective, because while the person is out of action, in limbo, in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, they gain perspective. They see things differently. And but it is about somebody who has been hung out to dry, somebody who has been sacrificed, somebody who is a victim, somebody who is powerless. And that somebody, while she is in this energy, is having a look at her life and thinking, do I like my life like that? And this is why we do these readings, and this is why I'm doing this reading today. And for us, in our own lives, when we find ourselves in these situations where we have been offered up as a sacrifice in a situation, we have sacrificed ourselves too much. When is it going to stop? And when is she going to actually become empowered and live her own life on her own terms? And that is very powerful energy. It's a very powerful card, even though it's a card of inaction. It is a major arcana, and this is a big moment in her life. I keep saying this, she's at that stage in her life, that age in her life where you do have these moments of reflection and you think, really? I've lived my life like this, I've played by everyone else's rules, I've done all the right things, and this is where it's got me. Very interesting energy that's coming through. So this situation that she's in, that universe wants to talk about today, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. It's called independence, that's a key word. Queen of Swords upright is somebody who's very shrewd, very intelligent, witty. She's unmoved by things. She's very clear-headed. She doesn't allow her feelings to get the better of her. The Queen of Swords in reverse can be a little bit cruel and cold and cutting and too detached. Can come across as quite critical and difficult. She can also be unwise. And Catherine has done something, if she was the one who did it, and I do think in the energy that I did for her yesterday, I do think she was the one who did the very amateur photoshopping. Unwise. She's done something that almost in a bit of a panic, trying to be maybe a little bit too clever, maybe a little bit too clinical. She's ended up doing something that is unwise and that has brought a heap of criticism onto her head. The Queen of Swords in reverse is all about criticism, and everybody who's got an opinion is out there giving it at the moment. So she's got herself into a bit of a mess through trying to be too perfect, too controlling of the situation, too sort of clinical and analytical. It's backfired on her. Let's see the lesson that this is trying to teach her and trying to teach us. It's hard to read these cards. It is the Prince of Discs. That's the Knight of Pentacles, the Prince of Discs, and it's in reverse, and it's interesting. Again, let's look at the keyword reliability. It says reliability, and that is interesting because the whole criticism that's being aimed at her and the royal family now is, you're being unreliable, how can we trust you? You've done this, you've messed up, and we want to trust you, but now we don't. And some people have really run amok with that notion that, oh, they're going to check every photo that's ever been submitted to them by Kensington Palace. CNN apparently is going to do that. Not going to scrutinise anything Harry and Meghan have ever put out, but definitely anything William and Catherine have put out. Interesting double standards there. Did a reading on that yesterday too. But it's this notion that she, who has been so solid and so stable and so dependable and always showed up and always did the right thing and always looked beautiful and always behaved impeccably and the perfect children, suddenly has feet of clay with that card. So that is the lesson. You can't always be perfect. You can't always do everything right. And you've got to give yourself some room to maneuver, some room to make mistakes. She is perfect, and her reverse image, her mirror image in Montecito, makes gaffe after gaffe after gaffe and doesn't seem to realize with the clothing she wears and her behavior and the things she says and things she does. In my opinion, if you compare the two of them, the one is trying so hard to be perfect and is full of self-doubt and criticism, the perspective card, and the other one who, to the rest of us watching, or most of us watching, think, oh my word, can't believe what she's wearing today. Will she ever learn to steam her clothes or iron her clothes or wear the right underwear? Thinks she's perfect. So it's weird. It's weird energy. It's weird opposites that are at play here. And the tension of opposites is why we are all on this earth plane to learn lessons, and that's why I'm doing this reading. So let's see what's at the root of this, the Y energy in this little mini Celtic cross. It's a Six of Swords, and it's called transition, and it is about moving on from situations, transitioning from one state to another, moving from one country to another, moving from one energy dynamic to another. That is the Six of Swords. Moving on from difficult times. It's as if universe is saying you need to move on. You need to put this behind you and move on. She's trying with this Queen of Swords in reverse, and she's trying with this perspective card, but she hasn't got there yet. There might be wind in the sails now that's taking this little boat full of swords, and the swords are wounds that she has suffered. And because they're swords, they're verbal wounds that she has suffered. And she has suffered, and she needs to just learn to put it behind her and move on, and learn to do that a little bit differently, maybe in a more free-flowing kind of a way. I'd like to see her come out. There were days when she wore those sort of dippy hippie dresses. I think she went to India and she had all these dresses, sort of boho, you know, champagne hippie kind of clothes, and the Indian society ladies were very indignant because she should have been there in her raw silk outfits, and she wasn't. She was expressing something in herself that she has stifled since then. She got the coat dress thing after that and wore the coat dress day after day after day because she didn't really know how to express herself. She's got to learn to express herself. Focus of this lesson. King of Wands. It's all about theatre, and it's all about power and drama. It says leadership, and yes, the King of Wands is very vital in his leadership. He's very exciting and charming and charismatic and fiery and dynamic and creative. Wands are creativity. Universe says the lesson you have to learn is you can't be this Queen of Swords. It'll trip you up, which is why we have that Knight of Pentacles in reverse, the Prince of Discs, as it's called in this tarot, the Field Tarot. She needs to learn how to express herself and cut loose and be this vibrant and dynamic person that she is in her true self. It's a wonderful energy, the King of Wands. It's a fabulous card when it's expressed properly. Because it is so creative and so exciting and wants to share its joy with everyone, and its inspiration, and it's lust for life that's in that King of Wands. Very interesting. What has been learned so far, what has been revealed so far to her and to us watching, sometimes through our fingers? The Chariot, and that is drive and force and willpower. She has used her willpower to push through situations that I think have been very difficult for her. I think she was a very shy person. I think she might have other issues. Just leave it there. But she's used willpower, and she's possibly overdone it in terms of pushing herself. And I got that energy in a reading I did on her health situation. I got that she was going to drive herself too hard again, trying to recover and get back in the public eye. The Chariot, of course, is also Prince William energy, Cancerian energy, Major Arcana, just by the way. It's interesting to me, though, because we have the tension of opposites in the Chariot card. It's what I've been talking about, both of these readings I've done today. Opposites, that you can see the horses' heads are turned in different directions, making it difficult to drive those energies together, to harness them and move forward effectively. That's what the Chariot is all about, learning to harness those opposites. She's done work on herself to overcome certain things that are difficult in herself. And she and William have been a team that has been very focused and very driven, and they have been very, not ambitious, I don't think ambitious in the sense of we want stuff, but very focused, which is the Chariot. They've been so focused on their goals of what they've got to do in the royal family and what they've got to present as, that they've lost sight of their own passion and their own individuality and their own creativity. And this is all about finding it again. So where is this heading? This energy, where is it? Interesting. We're getting such big cards in this. It's very interesting on so many levels, because the Devil card, of course, is the Capricorn card. So it doesn't necessarily mean a terrible thing in this context. So interesting. The universe really wanted this reading done today, is all I can say. The Chariot is the Cancerian energy, and the Devil is the Capricorn signifier, major arcana. And the two are opposites. For those of you who are astrologers and know what I'm talking about, they are opposite energies. So that's William's energy and Catherine's energy. She's going to settle into her own energy as a result of this, her Capricorn energy. And the cliche about Capricorns is that they get more relaxed as they get older, and they have more fun, and they express themselves more comfortably and all the rest of it. So there's that. Very potent how matched they are as a pair. So even though the marriage is going through a bit of a wobble right now, and who knows how they're going to decide to live their lives in future, there is some perspective coming to her, and there is this, it needs to be much more passionate and free and fun and all of those things. Of course, also, I'm sure you're all shouting that the Devil is very often the energy that comes through for me as a tarot reader of the one in Montecito. It comes through, it's the toxic energy, it's the obsessive energy, it's the one energy that she's chained to. They are chained together, the two women, in this mirror story that we are going through. And there's the moon in the background, which I meant to point out when I was talking about this card. The moon, the suspicion, the doubt, the fear, the mystery, the things that are hidden, the mental angle of it that can be a bit disordered, a bit weird. They are chained together. The cards in this reading, for those of you who are in doubt and are worried and upset, whatever goes on down on the earth plane, this is the energy. And these cards are insanely powerful cards. These ones. The ones that are surrounding this little bit of trouble that she's got herself into, Catherine, right now. This little bit of trouble she needs to get herself out of by being that energy. But there is such powerful energy here. It's crazy compared with the reading that I've just done for Megan. Interesting to put the two together and see how different the energy is that's coming through. So there it is, and thank you for sticking with me through this. And I'll see you again, hopefully tomorrow.